O Show. This is the Big 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 O Show.
There's just one place to celebrate a happy new model year. Acura of Pembroke Pines. Drive away in a new ZDX. Only $459 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
When it comes to your smile, confidence is so important. At Moody S Dental, they provide the services to get your smile back. This family-run practice prides itself by offering the latest technology to give your family the best experience possible. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years with offices in Hialeah and Plantation. They accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams, 20% off select treatments. To qualify, please follow us on Instagram at moodys.dental. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years. To schedule an appointment in Hialeah, call 305-821-0231 and Plantation 954-692-6825. From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back. Go to moodysdental.com to find out more and tell them Big O sent you.
It starts every morning before the sun comes up. Projects are laid out. Plans are made. Equipment is fueled and loaded with inventory to handle all service requests. Orders are given to an army of skilled landscape maintenance professionals, certified arbor trimmers, irrigation technicians, and licensed pest management experts who fan out to communities and businesses all over South Florida. Experienced, on time, and dependable. Our staff is fully trained, licensed, and insured. Contact us by phone, email, social media, or through our website to answer all your landscape questions. We are Cutter's Edge. Total Landscape Solutions.
Oh, Sam, not again.
Initiating Daddy's back.
Go!
Set the rhythm of your smart home with Sloman Shield Blink, the new integrated smart home platform that automates your life just the way you want it. Sloman Shield Blink. Be the maestro of your own home.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welton Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welton Rayom can help.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
Viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
Champions, how you feel? Yeah, baby. You know, they got the revenge from last year after that fiasco. They got it done. Wasn't perfect, wasn't pretty, wasn't exactly the way you want it, but it doesn't matter because they're champions, and that's all that matters. And just a fun. I mean, it was like a weird game because you get the gift of the own goal. And then they really dominated. Like Vancouver was the better team for a really long stretch. They probably should have scored 2 or 3 goals. And they finally got the one. And then they did such a great job of keeping Messi away. It's funny because I'm watching it with my wife. And she's like, well, Messi's quiet. And I go, well, they've done a really good job of taking him out. And not allowing him to touch the ball because his vision, it's not just scoring, but his vision will kill you, I'm telling him. And sure enough, I swear to you, 60 seconds after I tell her that, Messi makes the steal that makes the pass to DePaul, and then DePaul scores in the 71st minute. And then from that moment on, Miami, it kind of like switched. and they were much more of a threat. And then they got the last goal, which was from Alba to Messi to Allende. And again, it's just it doesn't Messi doesn't have to score. He's so good, and he brings so much attention to him that his vision is just sick. He knows where everybody is, and sure enough, there he goes. That was awesome. It was fun. It was frustrating at times because, we were kind of nervous there watching it going, well, wait a minute, bro. Vancouver's kicking their ass right now. They're dominating possession. We're dodging, hitting the pole twice. And I mean, all kinds of stuff. Like it was one of those days where the Inter Miami was good, and they also needed a little luck, Sorry about that. Had to clear myself a little bit. Had to lower it. But it was fun, man. It was just a lot of fun to watch and watch my Inter Miami. And they needed this because, when it goes 1-1, I'm sitting there going, well, wait a minute, bro. You guys didn't win it last year. They're talking in the broadcast how you guys have spent so much more money than Vancouver. Vancouver's not even close to the amount of money. And, it's 1-1, and we're sitting there going, wait a minute, if you lose this is going to be another disaster. It can't. You cannot lose this. You got to win. And that was good, man. That was good. And so Canada gets shut out again. The Panthers shut out Canada last year. Inter Miami now shuts out Canada this year. So that's pretty good. I like that. Well, actually, we've shut out Canada 3 years in a row because the Panthers have shut out Edmonton 2 years in a row. So it's 3 years that a South Florida team tells a team from Canada, no, Bubba, the title will reside here. We should be celebrating 2 straight titles with this team, but that's all right. This team is better than last year's team. There's no doubt about it. And just a lot of fun, man. A lot of fun. The own goal by Ocampo ended up in the 8th minute. DePaul scored in the 71st minute, and Allende scored in the 96th minute. So just awesome stuff, man. Don't forget, folks, to smash the hell out of the like button. It's very important that you smash the like button. Remember, you can also make a donation to the show Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo, and you can make a Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, or Solana donation. You can send in your questions, comments there. It's also a great way to support our show, as always. Joe, thank you, sir. Joe Cracchiola on Venmo. He says, Big O, great win for Inter. Spent many a night at Lockhart watching the Strikers. We finally finished the job. Thank you for keeping us casual soccer fans up to date all year. Love the show. Thank you, sir. And, Joe, for guys like you and me that we either went to the Strikers when we were kids or young, or the Miami Fusion, I was obviously a much older person then, and I was able to be the stadium announcer and cover the team, and we had it here for a short time. I think it was 4 years or 5, and then we lost it. And then, the Strikers in the NASL, but the Strikers in the USL and the new NASL, and then Miami FC and Miami United, and we've got like so many, local clubs that we've gone through and different iterations of local clubs and all that kind of stuff that we've had here. And those of us that are like hardcore soccer fans, at least for myself, those of you that have followed my career, I follow all levels of soccer. Fort Lauderdale United is another team that we support big time here on the show. For me, I have followed all levels of soccer. Okay. When we had in West Palm Beach with the ladies, the Fire Jack, Cracker Jack, something Jack. I forgot what it was. I went up there a couple times. It wasn't really, it didn't have the, like what it had, like now what we're seeing with the USL and we're seeing with the NWSL, it's different. So for me personally, for a guy that's been following local soccer throughout his lifetime, and then especially as a media member for 36 years now. Yeah, to me, this is the culmination of everything, I mean, with the Fusion, we were in the Western Conference Finals, and then we lose our team after going to the conference finals. Yes, Western Conference. It was one of those things at the beginning of the year. At the early years, we were rotating around and playing different teams, and it's just things they've done with expansion teams in the past in different leagues, by the way. But anyway, so just one of those deals that when you've gone through all the different iterations of different soccer franchises here in South Florida at different levels, and to finally get to the highest level in this country and have our own team win the title. Yeah, Joe, I got to say it's super satisfying, dude. It's really, really cool. I'm happy for a lot of people that are out there that have been part of the soccer, world, you know what I mean? And they've done, whether it's the Michelle Kaufmans of the world, that have been covering soccer here locally for a long, long time. And, all Eddie Rogers, all kinds of different people that have been working in the soccer world here in South Florida. I'm happy for them because they have been trying to keep soccer going for a long time. Hal Habib from the Palm Beach Post, I could just go on and on. Jeff Rusnick, who is not doing like in the major papers, but he was here for a long time, still in town, and a guy that did a lot for local soccer. It just there's a lot of people that I can start to mention. Some of you might know some of them, some of you might not. Kartik Krishmeyer, I think, if I'm pronouncing his last name right, but Kartik is another guy that is huge here locally. There's so many people that I'm happy for that have had that they're enjoying this Inter Miami success, and then there's a lot of fans like you and me that have been at different matches for different leagues for our local teams. So to finally get here at this point, it's really, really cool. Really, really freaking cool, dude. So can't complain overall. It is beautiful. So I'll take it. Even if they didn't, they got a break with the own goal. They got a couple breaks with some lucky shots that didn't, go in for Vancouver, which, hey, listen, sometimes you got to be a little lucky too. Sometimes you need a couple of breaks. When the Marlins won one of their championships, they had a Bartman. They had Cruz Jr. with the San Francisco Giants screw up in the series. There were different things that happen on the way to the World Series that you got to break here or there, and you kind of, you ended up as World Series champions. So sometimes you do need the ball to bounce your way. Today, the ball bounced Inter Miami's way, which was really cool. So didn't bounce Vancouver's way, but it definitely bounced Inter Miami's way. Okay. So that was actually really, really freaking cool. Let me see what I was going to do here. Give me 30 seconds.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
This win also puts Miami in elite company. Okay. Why? Well, we now join New York and LA as the only cities that have 5 championships in all 5 major sports. So we won it with the NFL back, when the turn of the century and when dinosaurs roamed the earth and all that kind of stuff. We won the Marlins championships. Obviously, the Heat have won championships. The Panthers have won championships. And now Inter Miami has won their championship. The other point is if Inter Miami and the boys can win one more, that also means that all of our pro teams in town, not 1, but 2 titles each. So that's pretty cool, okay? New York doesn't have something that LA and Miami has, a major college team also that has won national titles, which USC and Miami. So we've got that also on top of it. So living in Miami, and I'm one of the lucky ones. I've been blessed, born and raised here in South Florida, and I have been able to see every single championship from every single team. That is pretty cool. In fact, I may be the only media member in town that has lived here in South Florida through all of the titles. I'm pretty sure of that, actually. I'm pretty sure there isn't an active media member that lived here in South Florida throughout all the titles dating back to the 70s. Pretty sure of that. A couple of the guys, I know Poupart didn't live here in the 70s. I know Joe Rose didn't live here in the 70s. And I know Dave Hyde didn't live here in the 70s. Greg Cody would be the only one that could be with me living here in the 70s. I think he was. Pretty sure. So maybe Cody. That's about it. But not a lot of media members have actually been here in South Florida for all the titles. And I'm pretty lucky in that sense. And if any of you out there live here in South Florida and you've lived here throughout all the titles, you're blessed, man. You're blessed. You are absolutely blessed. By the way, I wonder if they're celebrating with the pots and pans out in the streets. I don't know if they are, but I don't know. Maybe I'll look it up here in on Twitter. See if there are people out on the streets. I would imagine that there's going to be people with the pots and pans because now it's official. See what I mean? We don't bring out the pots and pans for the Leagues Cup, but I think we're going to bring it out for the MLS Cup. I think some people will be out there with the MLS Cup, which is pretty cool. I tell you, man, they needed it big time because you can't spend this kind of money and not win it. But it was nice to get a couple of breaks and end up winning the match and winning the championship. It is pretty cool. Let me see here. I saw Manny J. Snow. Thank you for the love on the super chat. Let me bring it up. Let me bring it up here. I can do that. I know Sean isn't here, but I can do it. I know how to do it. He says, everyone is making the Dolphins look like a second-class franchise. Congratulations, Miami FC. It's Inter Miami CF. Rocking my Inter Miami jersey on Monday, baby. There you go. Well, we're rocking it right now. We're rocking it. I'm rocking my David Beckham jersey because I got to honor David Beckham because he's the guy that committed to South Florida, And Manny J. Snow, thank you, sir. Hey, listen, folks, the Dolphins and the Marlins are second-class franchises. That's what they are, dude. The Marlins are cheap. They don't have any money, so they're second class. The Dolphins are incompetent. They don't know how to do anything right. So that's the difference. The Panthers, they know how to do things right. The Miami Heat knows how to do things right. And Inter Miami now has more than proven that they can do things right. I mean, the owners did what they did. The owners did enough last year. It's just the players choked it out last year. It was just terrible what they did. This year the players actually stepped up and played to their potential and they got it done. The owners were more than committed. They had proven that already. So that's That's what we live with, unfortunately. Listen, you can convince yourselves of other things if you want to do that. If you want to do that, that's fine, and lie to yourselves and all of that. But when you watch the Moss brothers take over, and in 6 years they win a title, okay? And by the way, the first iteration of their team that they tried, it didn't work. And they immediately cleaned house, turned it over, and they kept turning it over, and they're like on their third or fourth GM. They're like on their fourth head coach. So they didn't waste any time. They kept going, kind of crazy and all that, but whatever, they got there. They figured it out. They went and got the best player in the world. They spent the money, which elevates the league itself too. And that's just kind of the way it is. And you look at Viola, and he took over, and the Panthers just got better and better and better under his watch because he's a great owner. We have an owner in football that has the same team for over 15 years and hasn't done anything. That's all you need to know. The man is on his way to owning the team for 2 decades, and he hasn't done jack shit. So it's just a fact of life. The Dolphins are a second-rate franchise. They can never be compared to Inter Miami. They can't be compared to the Panthers, and they cannot be compared to the Miami Heat. They live in a world with the Miami Marlins in this town. They are not thought of that way or loved that way. They are much more loved than most teams in town. We all know that. But the reality is we love an incredibly incompetent team. So enjoy, appreciate what the Moss brothers are doing. Appreciate what Viola and Sifu are doing. Appreciate what the Miami Heat are doing. Even though, the Miami Heat situation has been great, and I disagree in the direction they're going in now, but that's fine, whatever. They're trying, and it's worked out so far for them better than what we most expected. So at least they're showing competency in that sense, and they have the best coach in the business, period. It's about them giving the coach the talent that he needs in order to win, and they haven't been able to do that. But outside of that, we all know they know what they're doing. Okay? Unfortunately, our football team has zero clue what they're doing. Zero clue. And those are facts, dude. Unfortunately. Those are the facts. Jay Bird in the house, loving the Inter win. Luis Medina is loving it with Leafs. Random Ray. Allende has been an absolute star in these playoffs. Amen to that. Oscar Rojas, loving the championship. And yes, you are right, Oscar. We have to give them a victory cigar. Can I do it, or what the hell's going on here? Did I do something here to screw this up? Oh, I see. I don't know what the hell I did, but I did something that I can't even get to the video now. That is really weird. That is really, really weird. I don't know what I did. I must have pressed something that doesn't allow me to get to it, unfortunately. Yeah. Yeah, no, I can't even get to the victory cigar. I can't get to any video. I can only get to a couple of videos right here that I have at my disposal. That is crazy, dude. Yeah. No. So no victory cigar till Monday, unfortunately, because then Sean will be able to fix whatever my dumbass did to this thing. This is why it's a disaster when I run it. Anyway, let's see. Leticia says, I feel like it was yesterday we went from Diego Alonso and Neville to champions. Amazing. The organization, the fans deserve this. Campeones, big. Yeah, right? And kudos to the ownership on that one. Eddie Lepp is loving it. Jules says, rarely do I enjoy a soccer game like that. Very entertaining. Random Ray says, Inter Miami redeemed themselves. It was a thing of beauty, big time. Yes, sir. Billy Bob says, this is the Big O Show. Jeff in Long Island. Ariels. Another sports team wins a title. Another Miami sports team wins a title. Yes, sir. Walter Olivares, second half by Vancouver was phenomenal. Walter also loves Tadeo Allende. Let's see. He says Inter Miami was playing with some of the prevent defense after the half. For a second, it almost prevented them from winning, but it changed. It changed that Messi was able to get on the ball because they did a great job of marking Messi and not allowing him to touch the ball much. If it wasn't for that Messi steal, you got to give Messi a lot of credit, dude. They kept him out of the game. And then all of a sudden, that's it. It's over. And give him credit on that one, dude. No doubt. Jules is right. Messi is a beast. 90 miles from Cuba. Champions, Vamos Big O. Robert T. Skylar Tipton. Miami Breaker. MLB also Dodgers beat a Canada team. Oh, that's true. That's right. That's right. Joseph says, congrats, guys. Thank you, sir. Skylar Tipton. Muller ain't shit. Frankie Fresco in the house. He says, so you're finally not going to knock Messi for winning? Finally, he had to win, dude. You can't spend that kind of money and not win in this league. And you certainly can't get eliminated in the first round. That was disgusting last year. So they did what they had to do this year. And they got a little lucky, too, in the finals, which was good. Because it was looking for about 50 minutes, Vancouver dominated Inter Miami. And they easily should have scored 3 goals. Easily should have scored 2 more goals. So it was good to have a little luck on our side. But, yeah, the choke job last year it's one of the greatest choke jobs in the history of South Florida sport. Messi's a champion now, but he's also one of the biggest chokers in the history of South Florida sports last year. You can't erase that. You can't erase it. Cannot. So it is what it is. Today, they had to win. No choice. You had to win. If you lose, it would have been catastrophic to spend all that money and not win the title. That would be crazy, dude. Crazy. 90 miles from Cuba says, born and raised in South Florida, and the Dolphins are the only ones I have not seen, but that's okay. Let's go Inter. Yeah, and I don't know when you're going to see that. So, let's see. What else? Truth says, this is awesome, Big O. Moss needs to purchase the Finns and bring them back to the promised land. There's no chance of that because the Ross family is making so much money. They'll never sell, dude. They'll never sell. Chris says, I remember watching the T-Men versus the Strikers in the 80s. I remember going to Striker games, man. That was fun. Port St. Lucie and Fort Pierce in the building, says Lil. Green says, I missed the second half on a flight. What a great way to inaugurate the new stadium. Doesn't Chicago have... I don't know, do they? The Fire did win, you're right. The Bears have one. The Bulls have many. Well, it's the Cubs, right? Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think Chicago has it too. So Chicago, New York, Miami, and LA are the 4 cities that have championships in all 5. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. They want it in baseball. They want it in football. They want it in basketball. Hockey, they want it because we had Dale Talon here that was supposed to build the titles for us. So, yeah, no, you're right. Chicago also. So there you go. I asked Grok on Friday, and it said nobody had done it. So I just went with it. So don't ask Grok on Twitter AI and expect it to be, like, perfect. It's not. It's going to be off quite a bit because man, several cities. The major cities have been able to do it. So, well, I don't know if we're considered major. I know Chicago, New York, and LA is considered like the major cities. I don't know if we're considered major. I don't think so. We're probably like the second level type of city, not major. But we now join them in having titles in all 5 major sports. So that's pretty cool. And we have the jump on New York and Chicago on the college football side, but Chicago, or not Chicago, LA has the Sparks. So they have a WNBA title, and I think New York also has it because the Liberty have won a title in the past. So they've got it too. So there you go. We don't have we had a WNBA team, but the WNBA team is gone and did not win a title during that time. So what else do we have going on in the world of sports? What else? The win gives us titles in every sport. What else was something else? Oh, and as I mentioned earlier, if Inter Miami can go for another title, doesn't have to be 2 in a row, but if they can win another title in the next year or two while they have Messi, because I think they have Messi for 2 more years, I believe. So if they can win another title, all of our pro teams have won 2 titles, except Inter Miami. So that's the other thing that that's pretty spoiled. When you have all 5 pro sports, if Inter can win it again, that's pretty lucky for us, man. I mean, that's some good fortunes, and there's a good chance it happens because when the Dolphins won their title, they won a title shortly after they won the first one right away. The Marlins won it 6 years apart, 97 and 03. The Heat won 2 of them together when they were with LeBron, overall. The first one was in 06, and then they won in 11 and 12, right? So you have, and then obviously the Panthers have won back-to-back titles. So Inter Miami now, we'll see it normally in South Florida history when one of our pro teams wins a title, they usually win that second title a short time after. So let's see what happens over the next couple of years if Inter Miami is able to do it again, which would be awesome. And then the race is Miami the Heat has 3. Who can join Miami with 3 titles, or can the Miami Heat be the first to get to 4 titles? So all that kind of stuff. So we'll see what Inter does. See if they step into the realm of 2. And then see if they can step in where only the Miami Heat exist with 3 as the pro teams in town. So we are spoiled. We are spoiled overall when you compare it to other cities. There are a lot of cities that have enjoyed this many titles in all their sports. Only a few have been able to do that. So that's pretty cool. Trophy ceremony going on, obviously. Team pictures, all of that kind of stuff going on. I can see some of the pictures that they're putting up overall. Let's see what else. Trying to see if I see any other kind of news that I can pass on from the folks out there. Showing Messi, by the way, with the trophy, obviously. And the folks in Vancouver left a little disappointed after loading up the stadium and coming up a little short, unfortunately. You feel for Vancouver, but somebody's got to lose, and I'm glad it's not us. Big O, who was your favorite striker? I'm going to stay with Ray Hudson all the way, bro. Player, coach, everything. I'm going to stay with Ray all the way, dude. Okay? Just because I know him personally and he's such an incredible individual was a solid player and has been an ambassador for the sport. Did everything in his power to make the fusion work, but we had terrible ownership. We didn't have the kind of ownership that we have now. We had we had what's that called? We had the kind of ownership that you have over or Sherman over with the Marlins. We had a broke ass owner that wasn't willing to do what he had to do and was overcharging people and all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna stay with Ray Hudson, bro. Ray Hudson's my guy. Gotta go with him. What else do we have? They all have multiple teams, though. We're the only city with one team for each sport, so we win. Well, that's actually that's a good point. They do have the luxury of having two teams in most sports, because in the New York part, they're not all in New York. Some of them are in New Jersey, so it's in a different state. So that's a little different, But the New York City teams have done it, so they get the credit. But you're right. Some of them have two teams, and they get to cheat in that sense, and we only have one. But but either way, we are blessed, dude. We are truly blessed to be able to enjoy championships in every pro sport. And hopefully now the Fort Lauderdale United will give us a championship with the ladies here this year or down the line. That would be absolutely phenomenal if that could happen. That would be a beautiful thing, as they say. What else? Orlando, will this help Inter's front office bring in a major defender? They're going to bring anything that they want, as long as Messi approves it. You know what I'm saying? But they're not going to have a problem getting anything that they want. They have an ownership group that will spend whatever they could get away with. The Moss brothers are going to spend. So it doesn't matter. So yeah, they'll have no problem. They're going to lose some people. Like always, there's going to be a turnover on the roster this year, and we'll see what ends up happening. But yeah, I could see them getting a little better on defense when it's all said and done. Listen, they ended up with the title this year. So whatever it is that they do, we'll live with it, as they say. But it is beautiful to absolutely see what they were able to accomplish today. And they didn't have to be perfect today, which was cool because it wasn't the perfect game. It wasn't the perfect performance for the team. It was kind of a rough performance at times. They needed to get a break or two, and we got them, and Vancouver didn't. So many blessings for us on this one, okay? We got a break that Vancouver didn't.
When it comes to your smile, confidence is so important. At Moody S Dental, they provide the services to get your smile back. This family-run practice prides itself by offering the latest technology to give your family the best experience possible. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years with offices in Hialeah and Plantation. They accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams, 20% off select treatments. To qualify, please follow us on Instagram at moodys.dental. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years. To schedule an appointment in Hialeah, call 305-821-0231 and Plantation 954-692-6825. From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back. Go to moodysdental.com to find out more and tell them Big O sent you.
That's right, folks. Dade and Broward locations. My entire family goes there, so make sure you visit our friends at Moody S Dental. And by the way, at Craig Zinn's Acura Pembroke Pines at 150-601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. They've got the Season of Performance sales event going on right now. 2025 ADX, $239 a month, 4.9% financing for 60 months. 2025 Integra, $279 a month, 3.9% financing for 60 months. The RDX, my wife drives it every day, $359 a month, 4.9% financing for 60 months. And the TLX, $339 a month, 2025 model, 4.9% financing for 60 months. Go see Larry Schlossberg and Pat Nasto and tell them that Big O sent you, and they will take care of you there at Craig's Inns, Acura of Pembroke Pines. Green Lion says maybe Ricardo Silva will spend now. Oh, you talk? Well, no, because he's in the USL, dude. So, unless the USL raises their salary caps and all that, I don't know. I got it. First of all, Green Lion, I got to plead a little ignorance here. I don't know how much they've raised it on the top level of the USL. Okay, but there's no doubt that Ricardo Silva, he's a badass, and he's got money. Okay, I mean that dude prints money, but it's his league that has the limitations put on him and all the other owners to stay at, one. I think that's why the USL has been successful. That's why the USL has lasted so long. That's why the USL has grown, because they have not bitten off more than they can chew. And they kind of grow as they progress instead of trying to put the cart in front of the horse, like they say. And so that's where I think that the USL has limitations that they cannot compete with the MLS yet. Or I don't know if they ever will. But that's a few years back, Ricardo Silva wanted to make, back when we had the NASL and Miami FC was in it, he wanted to make a badass league, but he couldn't find enough owners to do it. And then that's when they stole the Whitecaps and the North Star, the Minnesota, is it North Stars? Or Wild or whatever the hell it is. No, not Wild. That's the hockey team. Minnesota, whatever it is. They stole those teams. They stole a couple of NASL teams, and gave them expansion in the MLS, because they got a little bit of a whiff of what Ricardo Silva was trying to do, which would have, that would have put the MLS in a really difficult position, overall. What else do we have here? Random Ray says, not a bad way at all for Jordi Alba and Busquets to end their careers. And I got to tell you something. You're 100% right, Random Ray, but I'm also glad that Busquets is gone. Busquets has been a detriment to this team for a while now. He was terrific early on with his passes and his vision and all that kind of stuff. But lately, the passes haven't been as common, and he's so old and slow that he fouls. He doesn't defend. Today he almost had what could have been a red card, because it was such a pathetic trip. And was it Falcone that ended up getting the yellow card? And Twellman in the replay pointed out that it was Busquets. And Busquets has done a lot of that dirty shit all year long, tripping. And let me tell you, a couple times, he got away with one in a game where it was just inside the box, that it should have been a PK, and we didn't get the PK, against us. Busquets has become a detriment to this team, a liability. So I'm glad that the old man gets his trophy and get the hell out of here, dude. Jordy still can play, but Jordy's body's breaking down. Suarez is too slow. He can only help you out some on offense. So you've got to that's one thing about turning over this roster. Believe it or not, you can do better than Suarez right now in this league. You need much more athleticism, and you could do much better than Busquets now. You can go find yourself a midfielder that will contribute in much more ways, because Busquets really only contributes one thing: passing. That's it, dude. He's also a lawyer on the pitch. Whenever there's penalties or whatever, he always seems to be in the middle trying to negotiate all this bullshit. You know what I'm saying? But outside of that, he is useless. And so I'm glad that Busquets gets his title, but get the hell out of town, dude. You're done. Just like, again, Javier, I got to say, Javier Mascherano, the head coach, I wasn't impressed with the dude at all. But once he kept Suarez on the bench and left Silvetti in there and made the goaltending change on top of all of that, that took balls. And I got to give him mad props for that, because he changed the complexion of the team they may not have won the MLS title if he didn't make those changes. Put it that way. If you stay with the old goaltender, if you stay with Suarez on the pitch, it's a slower team. It's more deficient defensively, all of those kind of things. So props to Javier, because I was not impressed with him, and I got to give him a lot of love in that sense. Props to the team, because last year was a disgrace, and they were able to come back and overcome a shitty year. Because last year you had the number one seed, and to be eliminated in the first round, that's a shitty year. You cannot get paid that kind of money. You can't pay that kind of salary for that kind of team where you're dwarfing everybody else's salary, and you can't even get out of the first round. So props to the team that they put that behind them and they were able to overcome. And it was cool, man. It was cool. And I'm glad that they were a little lucky today. Okay. Own goal was luck. Not scoring a couple goals was pure luck, overall. Maybe got away with a penalty or two, which is good. But they did too. So, the other stuff was different. But they got dominated for like a 50-minute stretch. Okay? Which is never good in football, to be dominated for a 50-minute stretch. And how they did not give up several goals during that time, I got to give them mad-ass props, dude. Mad-ass props for doing that. So, and thank you, Green Line, for this super chat. Jaybird says USL Men's Division I begins next year with regulation and salaries. Yeah, that's why. I just don't think it'll be, high caps in the USL. But I do love the regulation and promotion. I love that. I think that's very motivational for all the clubs. So, yeah, Busquets has no athleticism. Exactly. Yeah, he's just he's old and stiff, dude, So, and Orlando, what does this do for soccer in Miami now going into the new stadium? I think it'll turn some people on, but we're not there yet because the franchise does a shit job of connecting with the community. They don't give access to their players. They never talk to Messi. Like we had Michelle Kaufman on 2 days ago, and she went to cover an event with Luis Suarez earlier this week. It was the first time they had talked to Suarez. Spitting incident, all that. They never had any access. We have Furones on every week covering the Dolphins, and David Furones was telling us how the European media saw how many players and walking into the locker room after the game and all that kind of stuff. And the European media was freaking out at all the access they had to players compared to the shit that they have. Because soccer is like it's a what's that called? A snobbish sport. And the people that run U.S. soccer, or the people that work in the MLS, or the people that work in international soccer, and a lot of they're a bunch of fucking snobs. And so they feel like they don't need to give you access to the players. Put it this way. I was running a radio station for Inter Miami. It was called Onside Radio. I made the plan with the owner to have a coaches show, players, all of that. I was in the building working with them. It's their station, and they gave us no access. We were lucky to get a player a week. And we were their product. Their product. That's all you need to know. Like, I was frustrated as hell. Like, I came in with a plan, how to do things, all that, whatever. Listen, the Moss brothers have done great, but they're doing it all by flying by the seat of their pants, and they have a boatload of money, and that's what helps. And when they make mistakes, they throw more money at it, and that's a beautiful thing because it's not your money, it's not my money. They're losing their ass in this whole thing, by the way. There's no way they've made back their money. No freaking way. No freaking way. By the way, that stadium was not sold out today. the MLS Cup final with Messi. So when you ask me what it's going to do with the new stadium and all that, it'll help, but we're not there yet. And, the other thing that you've got to do, you need a couple of young guys to grow up with the community and the team. And you need young guys that speak the English language. You need people that actually can sell the game. That's why I love Ray Hudson, because Ray Hudson was a great ambassador for the sport. And the people that didn't even love soccer or were barely interested, once they heard Ray talk about it, they were like, well, wait a minute, bro. This guy's awesome. I got to check this out. I got to give it a chance. Once you heard Ray Hudson, you gave it a chance. So we don't have that here in South Florida. The Moss brothers have done a piss poor job in that sense. Sure, we won and we got the best team in the league, and it's awesome to have Messi, but the only people really connecting with this team is the Argentine community, that they get to relive the memories of all their players that were all over the world, and now they're here in your backyard, so they get to go see them. So it's a great novelty for the Argentine community. But as for the South Florida community, the Moss brothers have completely failed in selling soccer here in South Florida. And one of the reasons why, they don't have their Barkov. They don't have their Jason Taylor. They don't have their Zach Thomas. They don't have their Dwayne Wade. So if you don't have the player that's going to be here for a long time and grow up and be the face of your team, because that's what I would have done. Bring Messi, sure, but go find a young guy. Go find a star young guy that can speak the English language, and then I can grow with him with Messi, win titles, and then when Messi leaves, since it's only a short window that you have with him, the young star that's been playing with him, like Tadeo Allende, he doesn't speak English, he can't sell but he's gone. He's on loan. He's gone here after this. He won't be here next year. He was a guy that was on loan to us as it is. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. It's you're not doing a service to your team because the kids aren't connecting with your team. And so if you're going to be just a mercenary team and you're going to bring in, another international player and another international player that'll be here for a couple of years and then he's gone, I just hope you keep winning titles, because that's really the only way it'll help, I guess. Because if you win titles, and then maybe they don't care. Maybe the Moss brothers are, dude, we'll win titles and people will come from all over the world because our brand is international. And you know what? We can still sell tickets at an expensive price because people are coming from all over the world. Maybe that's what they want to do. Maybe they don't care that they have a local tie. Maybe they just want to have an international tie. I don't know. It's a great question. You can see what's developed from all of this, but they definitely have not connected with the South Florida community. That's for sure. So that's all I can tell you. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. And you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum, Chainlink, or Solana donation. Jack Roldan, thank you, sir, for the love there on Cash App. He says, thanks for celebrating Inter Miami, hoping Finns win one day. Yeah. My only problem with that is, bro, I'm setting myself up now that I know we're not going to, not in my lifetime at least, because I don't see anything there. So that's my problem with that. That is my problem right there. I just don't see it, dude. It's sad. I can see it with other teams. I can't see it with Miami at all. The Moss brothers are good dudes and freaks about winning. Yeah. So hopefully they stay. Well, they're definitely fanatical. Somebody told me once, oh, those guys aren't going to win. I told them, bro, they'll win. They'll win. They'll find a way to win. Because I was around Jorge for a couple of years doing the onside thing. Bro, you didn't want to be around that guy in the early days of losses. He does not take them well. So I knew he would win. He's they're kind of crazy in the way they're doing things, cheated and everything early on with the extra international slots that they did not have and all that kind of stuff. They were willing to do whatever it takes. And here they are. And by the way, the other thing that the Moss brothers are doing is they're forcing the MLS to grow, to bring in more revenue. Hey, if we bring in bigger names, we can put in more seats and we can charge more and all that kind of stuff. One of the things that they screwed up in today, they put out the game for free on Apple. They had paid subscription the entire time. Now, I'm an idiot. I love soccer. I love my local teams. So I'm going to pay for the Apple subscription for the MLS package. But that's me. There's a few of us, but not a lot of us. And then they figured that out. And what they had to do was the reverse. Once they brought Messi, they had to give it for free, entice people, get them going, get them hooked. And then you start charging $10 or $30 or whatever, and then you increase as time goes on. But you come out and you nail people for $75 for the year, then, a lot of people, they're not like me that, oh, man, I love it. I want to watch every game no matter what. Most people aren't like me. And so, most people aren't like me, period, when it comes to sports. I like all sports. So many, not the ones that are watching right now, but so many people are, I'm just football and basketball. I'm football and baseball. I'm just baseball. I'm just basketball. I'm just college football, Oh, I barely like hockey. Oh, I love hockey. That's kind of, for me, I love all sports. I watch them all, love them all, passionate about all of them, So just, it's an interesting dynamic that we've got going on. And I hope that they end up getting some younger pieces to grow here and become, that jersey, that kit that everybody wants. Okay, you can bring in your high-priced free agents to complement him and all that, but go get yourself a young guy that can grow here and retire and be the face of your franchise, a guy you can keep here for 10, 12, 15 years. You know what I mean? That's what I would be aiming for if I'm Inter Miami. I'm aiming for having one or two of those kind of guys. And then that way my team has a real identity and you're not just mercenaries. So then people will hang on from year to year that if you don't get the right mercenaries, I'm not showing up or that kind of stuff. That's kind of bogus. Kind of bogus. Green Lion says, can you please update us on as of today? Well, I can tell you this. The good thing is Utah lost, right? They lost to Texas Tech. Let me give you the skinny on that. But yeah, they lost to Texas Tech, doggy. So that helps out. The Alabama thing, we'll find out. See, the whole question is if and Notre Dame are next to each other, will they then have jump Notre Dame because they beat them head to head? I don't know. That's the part I can't answer. I can only answer it this way. Normally Notre Dame's going to get the nod. That's just kind of the way life has always been. And they look at it that way and the whole national thing, and then they think they're a better team right now than the University of Miami. Whether you agree with that or not, this is why I don't lose my mind with this, Green Lion. This is why I got to be honest. I'm not going to lose an ounce of sleep if they don't get in. I won't care. I really won't care. You know why? Why did you lose to Louisville, bro? So the committee sits there and says Notre Dame lost to two ranked teams, two top 10 teams. Miami lost to a shit team and a team that's barely in the top 25. That's just not good enough. Oh, wait a minute. SMU, did they stay in the top 25? Actually, now I don't even know. You know what? Did they? Let me see. we go. Rankings. Where's SMU? No. SMU is not even in the top 25. Okay? No. Not even in the top 25. So that's where I can't sit here and lose my mind on this. I just can't. Alabama, by the way, is also losing right now to Georgia 14-0, but they're in the conference championship, and Miami isn't. And I don't want to hear the Duke stuff. This is why the ACC is a shitty conference. They have these stupid rules. Think about this. Duke has as good a conference record as Miami. They're both 6-2 in a shitty conference, but out of the conference, they lost 3 games. So what does it say about your conference? So you went 6-2 the same way they went 6-2. And whatever the opponents are, I don't give a shit, dude. You lost to Louisville. And once you lost to Louisville and got embarrassed and thumped on a Friday night, that's where I have to say, Mario, you do this shit all the time, dude. So you've put your team in this position where we have to sit here and argue for you to be in. That's bullshit, dude. With the resources he has and the recruiting that he's had the last 2 years, he should have easily made the playoffs. He failed last year badly with the Heisman Trophy quarterback candidate, and now you had a hell of a team, and look what you did to yourself. And by the way, as I've said this before, I gave you an 11-1 break this year. Like, you with that talent and that league, you should only lose 1 game. I don't care which one, but lose 1 game. You lost 2. And guess what my prediction is for next year? You can't lose an ACC game, period. No, in fact, your whole schedule, you should run the table. You have out-recruited everybody that's on your list by miles. Like you killed Florida State and Clemson the last 2 years in the recruiting. They haven't recruited a fraction of what you've recruited. So you better trash those teams. And Notre Dame on November 7th, you better make sure that they lose that game. You better make sure Notre Dame loses and send them a message like the old Canes used to do. So that's my whole problem with all of this, that I have to sit here and hope for this to happen or that to happen, and then for the committee to change their thinking and all that when they've been thinking like this forever. And when you lose late, it hurts. And if you're up against Notre Dame, you're going to lose. And all these stupid other things that go on, I don't have to agree with them, but I know that that's how they think. So what the hell am I going to do? You know what I mean? And that's where I can't sit here with these pathetic ass fans that are just whining and complaining like little bitches. Don't lose to Louisville, bro. Don't lose to Louisville. You lost to an absolutely shitty team that you had no business with. You should have run the table. When we're looking at the team now in the season and all in hindsight, you shouldn't have lost to SMU, and you certainly shouldn't have lost to Louisville. And if you do that, there's no doubt, no qualms, no question. You're in the ACC championship game. You should win the ACC championship game, which would add another victory, a conference title, and you should just put it out there so the committee says, yeah, Miami's a no-doubter. That's not what you are. Now you're a doubter. And that's my whole problem with all of this, Green Lion. You know, I don't have the heart to sit here and whine with fans about Mario's fuck-ups, because I'm tired of his fuck-ups. I'm absolutely tired of his screw-ups every year. So maximize your talent, dude. Learn from Eric Spoelstra. Stop being Mike McDaniel on the college end. That's what I say to fans out there. Stop whining and point the fingers at Mario for losing to stinking Louisville, because that's why you're in this position. If you don't lose to Louisville, you're in the conference championship game, and you control your destiny, and nobody would say a damn thing about it. But now you've given everybody the ammo to question, to doubt, to negate. And if it happens, I'm not losing an ounce of sleep on it at all. I'm just going to blame Mario Cristobal, who deserves the blame. Period. End of story. That's it. And by the way, if they get into the playoffs after all this whining, you better perform. Exactly, Joe. Should have taken care of their own business and not worry. And not it's the, you know what? It's the whole referee thing. Oh, you played a game and all, but you gave up turnovers. You played a close game. You should have beaten that team by 10 points, but now you've got the game tied and a penalty happened late in the game. And guess what happened in that penalty? It went against you. Maybe you didn't commit it. So now at the end of the game, you're whining that call changed the game. No. You know what changed the game? That you underperformed the entire game and you allowed a shitty team in the game. And when you allowed them, something happened that you gave that shitty team an opportunity to win because you left the game in the referee's hands. Now you've left the game in the committee's hands. Too bad, so sad, bro. Too bad, so sad. That's just the way it goes. I'm not losing any sleep over it. If the Canes don't get in, Mario Cristobal gets what he deserves. Stop being a mediocre game day coach, bro. Stop being conservative. Stop playing not to lose. Play with some balls. And by the way, after that loss, they have played with more balls. But this is after the fact. This is after all the other stupid shit that's gone on for several years with you here. I'm tired of it, dude. I'm not saying to fire the guy, but I'm just saying I'm tired of it. I'm tired of Mario Cristobal's incompetence on game day. So blame Mario. If you don't get in, don't blame the committee. Don't blame Notre Dame. Don't blame the system. The system's been the system. You want to change it? Too bad. Look at the ACC. That's how they want to settle their tiebreakers. Well, then that's why it's a shitty conference. You can't change a shitty conference. The rules are the rules. Everybody has to live by them. Now you've got to live by it. Is it right? No, of course not. There's no way Duke should be in the ACC championship game, but these are the rules. You're in a shitty conference with shitty rules, shitty teams. Stop losing to them. You're in the modern day Big East. Do what the old Canes used to do. Trash the damn conference. Trash it. That's it. No more. Manny Navarro's explanation yesterday on what has to happen today was complicated, but always right. It's their fault to lose to Louisville and throw the ball in overtime, third down on the 6th. Yeah, all of that. Anyway, congratulations to Inter Miami, dude. They got it done, and it was absolutely beautiful. A hell of a performance by the Canes. Hopefully we can build on this and get to that second MLS Cup, and we'll have the new stadium. So that'll be exciting, and hopefully more people will get into it. But once again, Inter Miami, man, MLS Cup champions, South Florida. All 5 of your teams have won pro titles. It's a beautiful thing, man. Enjoy it. You're blessed. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 11:30 to get you ready for the sorry-ass Dolphins taking on the New York Jets.
This is the Big O Show.